ana le go tlhabolola matshelo a go baakanya matshelo a bana gore ka tsona re mogare wa HIV AIDS. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Good to be here.
Okay, quickly.
Okay, Young Love is a new NGO that has a mission to connect youth to proven life-saving HIV information. As you know, there are so many HIV programs that we have here in Botswana, but very few of them have been actually proven to work. So basically what we do is we find programs that work, we make them free, we disseminate them, and we make our impact in schools.
How exactly do you do that? What exactly do you do?
Okay, basically, like I said, we find a program first. Right now what we're dealing with is intergenerational relationships between sugar mummies and sugar daddies. So we found a 1-hour program that has been tested and proven to work in Kenya. So what we're doing is we're scaling it here. We've taken this program, we're going to roll out to schools all over Botswana, hopefully every school in Botswana, and implement this program. Basically, which consists of an assessment, showing of a graph, giving them information, watching a video, and then a post-assessment to see how they've reacted to what we're teaching them.
I think to see these problems, you have to do research. Who does your research for you?
Our research, basically we find research that has already been done. You know that there's many things on the internet that us young people don't take advantage of. So basically we do research via internet, and also some of our members, our co-executive directors, they have a background in research. They've worked in the University of Cape Town and others, and various institutions in the US.
Well, now let's take a peek at this intergenerational sex. How serious of a problem is it in Botswana?
It's actually a very big problem, because not only statistics show it, but also in our day-to-day lives, we can see that it's become sort of a norm to us. Like, people don't see that it's wrong to date an older man just for money. And also statistics show us that 25% of girls, from a study done in the University of Botswana, 25% of girls in that university have an older partner.
What? I mean, you talk about money. Is that the only thing that they're running after? What else are they looking for in this older man?
Some of them are looking for money, true, and also for security. They think because if a man is older, he's less likely to have HIV, he's less likely to cheat on them because he doesn't go to clubs while a younger guy does. But what they don't know is that an older guy is actually more risky than a younger guy, because if a 14-year-old dates a man who is like 35, he has more years of sexual history than her age, so she doesn't consider what he has been doing all that time. She just rushes to the fact that he stays at home on a Friday night.
But how do we stop this thing of people dating their fathers? I mean, in calculation, 35 and 14. We actually can't force people to stop doing something. It comes from a person. Basically what we can do is to inform them. Because these young girls, they're not doing this because they're doing it they know that older men are there. They're trying to protect themselves actually. So because of the information that they have, that older men are safer. So by correcting this information that they have, it's myths. We look at myths in society basically. But how does this myth get picked up that older men are safer?
I honestly don't know. Because
yes, but then this is the thing again. Could it be true that younger people find older people attractive?
Probably, because like older people, older people tend to have money, and money is an age to make you look good. You have a fancy car, you have a nice house, you dress really well, you can get your hair done at the fanciest places, and you can look more appealing to a younger person than a UB student than a young male or female from UB who just wears simple clothes, takes combis. So maybe that glamorous and goes to class. That glamorous life probably appeases them and gives them this feeling of, if I date that man, I'll be as glamorous as him, he'll take care of me.
But I don't think that comes out when they get to UB.
It starts from a very young age.
Let's take a short break and come back and continue the conversation.
In my line of business, I often get the question, but how do you manage to stay on top of everything with such a hectic schedule? Where Botswana posts diverse offering of internet solutions, anyone can afford to see the bigger picture. Yes! Introducing Postal Cloud from Botswana Post. How well connected are you? Botswana Post. We are much more than a post office. Mr. Kasha to the right. Laboraro Machi, Kanapo Sarah.
As the fear is sun, no shun. Evaporate, took my soul, lost my brains, you.
Well, so wrapping up in the pushing Aaron. Abigail, we were still talking, and then I interrupted you. Now, this is the thing. Young people are looking for things.
True.
But it's not because those things start in UB. It's not like when you walk into UB or Boto or Limco Queen or wherever, those things start. It's not like there's a gate in front of the university that says, once you walk in, you want a car. Right? There has to be something. Don't we think it goes back to where they were raised?
It goes back to where they were raised because just by living in society, I've heard people whose some parents actually encourage their daughters to date older men. So that's basically why they encourage them.
Selling kids.
There is a law against that.
Okay.
But then because it's become sort of a norm to society, like this thing of a younger woman being with an older man. Yeah.
But then again, looking at society itself as it is, do we think that parents, like you said, who directly want their kids to date older men, or do they want them to date people who can take care of them but are in the same age when they grow up?
Basically, every parent would want their kid to be with somebody who can take care of them. So I don't think that in such a way, parents would actually say, date an older man, but it would be to be with somebody who can take care of you, somebody who is educated and focused in life. So maybe young people maybe misinterpret that, or either a parent is just plain out and encourages dating an older partner.
I always assume this, and correct me if I'm wrong, the end of Bojani and Bukwela, the initiation schools that we had, brought in an age gap kind of relationships, where people started going for people who work. When you're doing Form 3, you go for someone who's working already because you want them to be able to pick you from school. That whole thing, is it because we threw away our traditions and went into a new life?
Well, from my personal objective, I feel that that is also one of the problems, because I personally would have loved to go through the initiation process. I feel it would have had a different impact on my life concerning issues of dating and relations.
And get picked up by a guy of your age.
Yes, and get picked up by a guy of your age, because basically when somebody is older than you, they have more control over you. The more that somebody is older than you, the more likely you are to have unprotected sexual relations with them, because they have more control over you, they're older than you, they have more money, so you feel obliged to do what they ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you bring me to another topic. Are we only worried about HIV/AIDS, or we're also worried about gender-based violence at the same time?
We're worried about both, because in general, but we're mainly focused on HIV. But we're worried about both. We're worried about the HIV rates, the gender-based violence, and also one's social and emotional health when they date an older guy. So basically, by aiding these young people with this information in our program, we hope that they'll be able, because they can't force someone to do something, they'll be able to take the stand to make choices for themselves and to choose the right partner. And if at all they date an older man, to condomize at least, to keep themselves safe.
Okay. Now you've talked to a lot of young people. When you were talking outside the show, you talked about a high school, senior secondary school that you talked about. What do these kids think? What do they see? What do they say when you do this thing with them, these games that you play with them?
Okay, basically, the children in the schools, for starters, from our pre-assessment, they think that older men are safer. Some of them are okay with having multiple concurrent partnerships.
The young girls?
Yeah.
17, 15, 18?
We're actually not based only on the girl child. We deal with both male and
both of them.
Yeah, so both of them.
15 years old.
Yes. It's basically targeted, our program is targeted at standard 6, Form 1, Form 2. So what they bought basically is that older men are safer. They're less likely to have HIV. They were okay. Some of them were okay with multiple concurrent partnerships. And then like the reaction when we reveal the graph, they are always very shocked at the statistics because they always thought it was the other way around for those reasons of younger men running around, going to clubs and being with girls. And after the statistics and watching the video is basically just a video of a young girl who's bold enough to say no and expose a man who was trying to take advantage of her, an older man who was trying to get her into this sugar daddy little girl relationship. And then when we do the post-assessment and look at our results, it's an amazing change because they're more confident to say no to sexual predators, and males become more confident to refrain from multiple concurrent partnerships. And obviously that helps because it will reduce HIV rates, and that means there'll be less older men in future with HIV.
Okay, now let's look at Botswana, the boys especially. Is the Benton effect here in Botswana?
Benton effect. From society, from what I've seen in society, I haven't seen it much, but from what I hear, because here it's a small country, we hear things fast. I hear that it's there a lot. I haven't necessarily seen a scenario, but obviously, if sugar daddies are a problem, sugar mommies are a problem too. So these younger boys that go for older women.
Is it the boys going for
or older women going for younger boys? In both scenarios, it is a problem. But I haven't seen much of it, but it's there, and it is a problem if it's there.
Alright. So now, how does this thing actually affect everyone else? Because they think it's safer. They think it's okay. They think he can take care of me, he drives a car, all those things. But how does it generally affect other kids who are there? Is there a ripple effect to the ones who are coming, admiring that way?
Basically, firstly, an older man who has a younger girl. This younger girl, I don't know, she's appeased by this older man. I don't know if it doesn't click in her head that maybe other younger girls see that man that way. So he's most likely to have a couple more younger girls that he's dating. And these younger girls, they also are likely to have relations with younger boys. And then this way, the HIV is just passed through this vicious chain of HIV. The older men give it to the younger girls give it to the younger boys. These younger boys become older men.
They give it to the older women at the same time.
And the older women, and it just becomes a messy chain, a vigorous chain of HIV, and it's just spreading really quick.
Okay, now we are looking at the youth, testing the youth. Since HIV came, I think since it came into play, everyone has been saying youth, 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 youth. What about the people who are now coming down, the older men and the older women who are coming down to these younger people? What about them? What are we saying to them? Is it okay for them to be hunted by younger girls?
It's not okay for them to be hunted by younger girls. I'm not saying that it's wrong for an older girl to have relations with an older man that she loves, or they love each other and it's general love.
Older as in like 2 years older. Let's stick there.
Sugar daddy, sugar mom kind
That's
of thing.
not right. Okay,
not right.
Yes. But the whole thing, what are they saying? Have you tried to do this thing to the older people and find out really if their brains are normal, maybe they're lacking something in their brain?
Actually, there was a time we piloted in Mopanet Spring of Life, and we actually had the chance to speak to adults about what they think of this issue. And they basically, it wasn't sugar mummies or sugar daddies, not that we would know because that is on their personal area, but they were basically talking about how they as parents should advise children and look after their children and be able to talk to them about such issues. Because as young people, we tend to believe what our parents tell us. If our parents tell us this, if our parents tell us something as a young child, you grow up knowing it, like traditions and stuff. So if parents were to repeat certain things to children as they grow up and be open about such sexual issues, children would be less likely to go astray and do things that they don't understand, because it's basically a problem of the knowledge not being there.
Is there, a quick one before we end our conversation, is there any other influence, apart from the car, apart from the money, that could play a role in this? We talk about TV, music, videos, all those things. Don't they also have an effect? I mean, you look at Hannah Montana, she grew up and became something else.
Yeah, TV has also a massive effect on it because, like you said, Hannah Montana, our younger sisters grew up watching her, and now she's where she is right now. And yeah, they copy what they see. TV also pollutes our minds a lot, and it affects the way we live. highly, and yeah.
Quick one before we end. Can you tell us where to find you as your organization? What else you are doing? Quick one.
Okay, right now our office is based in UV. But to get in contact with us, you can message our website, or visit our website, which is www.young1ove, one instead of an L.com. www.young1ove.com. Facebook, Young1OVE. Yes, that's how you can get in contact with us.
Right, thank you very much, and then let's hope that this month of Youth Against AIDS, we'll see a lot of reductions in this problems.
Thank you very much.
The world doesn't look fine anymore.
It doesn't look fine, but it will get better because the youth are the future, and if we keep on doing things like this, we will.
Yeah, young people, older men. Well,